I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and this is a Patreon review for Gunnel. Sorry about the wait for that. For anyone interested in requesting any type of reviews or topics or reactions or re-reviews or pretty much any type of videos, feel free to request it either joining my Patreon or sending it directly to my PayPal. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is a review for a film called O, which is a take on Othello. Now, it's directed by an actor, Tim Blake Nelson, which there's another film he directed I reviewed. I already forgot what it was called, but it had Harvey Keitel and David Arquette, and it was about World War II Auschwitz type of storyline. But Tim Blake Nelson is more well known as an actor. He's one of the actors in Oh Brother Where Art Thou with George Clooney. And there's been a few others too. He was I forgot he was in Fantastic Four or Fan Four Stick as sort of the asshole military guy giving them shit. In particular Dr. Doom, who makes the guy Tim Blake Nelson blow up in his fucking suit. At least his head blow up. Now, it's definitely an interesting idea to take the Othello story and put it in this prep school in modern time. I would not be surprised if some of the inspiration was because, well, Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio, that got some success by bringing to modern time. But this doesn't do it where they're actually speaking in the dialect of William Shakespeare, which they did in the 1996 Romeo and Juliet film. At least they didn't do that. Which, for me, having to use your own words to tell the story so that the characters to be a bit more natural in the delivery. In Romeo and Juliet, granted, they made it a bit more unique and stand out, but this was easier to swallow, I guess the best way to put it. Now, the actors involved, you have Mekhi Phifer, who plays this basketball star. Everything's going well for him. Martin Sheen is the coach, he's the type of coach that yells and is very violent when things are not going his way. Martin Sheen's son is Josh Hartnett from Halloween H2O and The Faculty. You can tell that he's jealous of Mekhi Phifer's character, who's named Odin, or named O. And you definitely see Josh Hartnett's wheels turn in his brain, especially when Martin Sheen goes, "I love him like my own son." When they're giving Mekhi Phifer all this praise and for helping win the basketball game. So pretty much Josh Hartnett starts coming up with this plan to truly fuck up Mekhi Phifer's life. Where Mekhi Phifer is going out with Julia Stiles, who was in films like Save the Last Dance, among others. And one thing leads to another. He makes it so that he gives doubts to Mekhi Phifer's character. Hey, maybe she's sleeping around behind your back. Maybe she's cheating on you. And he starts playing games like chess pieces, using people like chess pieces. He takes this guy played by, I was going to say the Idle Hands guy, but Eldon Hansen. He was the guy who was with Seth Green, and they were kind of a pair in Idle Hands. He's the guy who got his head cut off, and then they duct taped it in Idle Hands. He's the guy who Mekhi Phifer says, you go and you do this, and then gets himself in trouble. Then Josh Hartnett tells him, oh, you tell them that Mekhi Phifer raped Julia Stiles, and Julia Stiles' dad is the dean, and it's played by John Hurd. May you rest in peace. Who was in Home Alone, and he was in Chud, and quite a few other films. Meanwhile, he gets Mekhi Phifer to believe that his basketball buddy is maybe sleeping wild with Julia Stiles, and starts planning ideas of jealousy and making Mekhi Phifer confused and discombobulated. Then he starts taking drugs, which then gets him in these rage fests during basketball games, and just making his life dwindle down more and more. If you read Othello, you know where it's going, so it's hard to say unpredictable, because again, if you know the story, then you know where it ends up. The actors I thought did fine. I mean, Mekhi Phifer, there's not many times he got to be the lead. Usually it's a supporting role, like the Dawn of the Dead remake, or what was that film? I still Know What You Did Last Summer. But he pulled off the lead role effective manner. Josh Hartnett, I thought actually did a decent job as this conniving guy who, he's definitely got some issues of his own, and definitely does not get along with his dad. But just the way he's manipulating people. Yeah, I don't mind Josh Hartnett as an actor. I liked him in The Faculty. Didn't mind him in Halloween H2O. Even Hollywood Homicide I didn't mind, with him and Harrison Ford. Julia Stiles, that was a point where she was kind of the it girl for 15 minutes. And then other than some tiny roles in the Bourne Identity films, you didn't really see her, Julia Stiles, much. Didn't really see her much after that. In a way, this is kind of one of those films that I'm not sure what to really say about the film itself. Because knowing it's William Shakespeare, knowing what type of story this is, I knew it would end on a tragedy, which, to be honest, is not really my cup of tea. But at the same time, again, I thought the actors pulled their roles fairly well. Pulled it off very well. There'd be times I'd be questioning, why are the characters doing this and that? And I don't know if that's really the movie's fault, or that's more to blame with the source material. But I know you're not supposed to say anything about William Shakespeare. That's bad. But it's just, when I'm watching the film, I'm going, although sadly this does happen in real life, so I can't really complain about it. So maybe it's more of a complaint in the real life sad state of affairs that happens when I really love this girl. Did she cheat on me? I'm gonna kill her after. It's like, yeah, you love her so much you don't fucking choke her to death because, oops, I want to fuck someone for 5 minutes. In this case, that didn't even happen, but still, Yeah, you love her that much. But I mean, that does happen many times in real life. I guess because we look in the prism of fantasy when you're watching a film, you question. Yeah, you question in real life because that's what sane people do. You question insanity. That's insane. Yeah, that's why it's called insane. If it was sane, then they wouldn't do it. But I guess maybe it's more fun and more easy to question insanity in a film. But at the same time, you can't really call that a plot hole because again, that's how people behave in real life. But what I'm getting at is when Mekhi Phifer, Julia Stiles tells him, I don't know where the scarf went, but then Josh Hartnett got this girl to leave the scarf somewhere else, so then Mekhi Phifer thinks this guy did it. And it seems like there's plenty of ways for this to not get to this point. Like if Mekhi Phifer would talk to Julia Stiles and go, hey, Josh Hartnett is telling me these things and giving these ideas in my head, then maybe if Julia Stiles goes up to Josh Hartnett and says, you're telling my boyfriend that I'm sleeping around? What the fuck? And then maybe if they both talk to Mekhi Phifer's buddy, basketball buddy, and the three of them talk to Josh Hartnett, maybe he wouldn't have much leg to stand on. Or the one guy, Eldon Henson, he even admits in the movie, I listened to you and I got the shit kicked out of me twice, man. But yet he still continues to listen to this guy. I'm like, well, why you continue to listen to Josh Hartnett? You've even admitted yourself that this guy has gotten you to get your ass kicked twice. And now he's trying to get you to help commit murder. So, I don't know, sometimes the motivations I'm a bit unsure of on certain things, or like, well, why didn't they do this? Or why didn't they do this? Or why don't they just go and talk to this person? Or spoiler alert, spoiler starting now. Like Mekhi Phifer, he strangles Julia Stiles. The girl tells Mekhi Phifer what happened, that she was the one told to steal the scarf because Josh Hartnett told her to. Then Hartnett shoots her. Mekhi Phifer gets pissed. And I'm thinking, why don't you try to, I don't know, fight Mekhi Phifer? Shoot Mekhi Phifer? Not fight. Why does Mekhi Phifer try to shoot Josh Hartnett? Well, I guess he tries and he gets outside and the cops are there and they tell him to put the gun down. But then, okay, instead of going on about, I loved her, tell her that I loved her, why don't you tell the cops exactly what happened? So that everyone can, like, verbatim, Josh Hartnett just shot this girl and killed her, and he made all this shit up, and instead, it's like he's gonna do that, or he kind of does, but then he shoots himself. And then Josh Hartnett gets arrested. So, I mean, is this a film I would ever see again? Not really. I mean, William Shakespeare stories honestly are just not my cup of tea. I know, I'm a Neanderthal, but there's a Neanderthal that knows what he likes. But there's really nothing in the film I found that bad. Like, the acting was fine. I mean, it didn't have any interesting offbeats of humor like Cruel Intentions, which is one of the reasons I like that film. The music, I can't really remember the music in this. I don't know, just one of those films I watch and I'm going, oh, okay. And then when it's done, I'm like, it was okay. But I would never see it again. So I don't. I apologize to the Gunnel. I'm sure this isn't much a review, but it's really hard for me to get into what I have to really detail about the film. The actors I thought were fine, in particular Mekhi Phifer and Josh Hartnett. Again, the story, if you like Othello, follows it fairly well, but modern times. If that was ever your interest, here you go. And I don't know what else to say. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.